So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have another little chat. This is your host, The Occult View. I want to talk about YouTube and maybe just social media in general, but mainly YouTube. I just want to say this first about YouTube. First off, YouTube has anti bullying protocols in place, and YouTube has an anti bullying policy. And I find that very interesting. YouTube also has protocols in place so people will not be harassed and stalked online, right? But some of the major YouTubers, and I'm not going to name their names because people like to sue people, but I just want to put something out there. How is it that YouTube, a conglomerate online institution like YouTube, how is it that YouTube has all of these protocols in place? Anti-bullying, anti-stalking. We want the YouTube community to be a safe community. How is it that you all have all of these protocols in place, but yet you allow people to build their platforms where they can grow into 1 million or more subscribers? You allow people to build their platforms on bullying, stalking, and harassing people, from the YouTubers at the top with the most subscribers to the ones in the middle with the middle class subscribers to the ones who are in the ghetto with the lowest subscribers. You allow people to build their platforms on bullying and harassing other people, but then you have anti bullying and anti stalking policies. And I'm not dismissing, I'm not blaming YouTube solely because it's the people that's doing it. So you can't blame YouTube solely. I understand that. But I'm just making a point. And then when people report people for doing these types of things, YouTube doesn't do anything about it. Or TikTok doesn't do anything about it. Or Instagram doesn't do anything about it. So, what's the point in having these protocols and these rules and regulations in place if they're not going to be enforced? There are several people who are big, well known YouTubers that I can think of off the top of my head who harass, stalk, and who bully people. And what goes along with bullying is lying on people, starting rumors on people, starting rumors against people, whatever, spreading rumors about people. And I just find it interesting that YouTube has all of these protocols in place, but they allow people to build their platforms off of this type of bullshit. I just find that interesting. So I want to talk about something right quick. Y'all know Funky Dineva, he left Fox Soul, right? And evidently there is some behind the scenes contention between he and Claudia Jordan and Flame Monroe, right? I'm not a big Funky Dineva fan, but he is killing them in the ratings, from what I understand, just by being on his own platform. And I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm not going to hate on him for that. But there was something that he said in his recent video that I wanted to address. He was talking about Dr. Jackie, and this video will not be that long. He was talking about Dr. Jackie and the comments that she made about black women who come to her who are pregnant. And she basically said that black women who come to her who are pregnant, they cry wolf a lot, meaning that they pretend that they're sick because of their pregnancy, but they're really not. they just want her to write them an excuse so they can take the day off from work or take some days off from work. She was basically trying to say that Black women patients are who are pregnant are overly dramatic and they cry wolf a lot and they are not really truthful when it comes to their illnesses as they're carrying a baby now, right? And everybody's been talking about this for the past couple of weeks. And Funky Dineva was saying that he knows Dr. Jackie very well. I have a question. Why would Funky Dineva, why would he know and why would he be such close friends with someone like a Dr. Jackie? What's really going on here? And see, this is where it's going to get a little messy. Because my question is, Dr. Jackie is up here. Why is she socializing with people down here? I'm being totally honest. That's number one. Number two, and this is going to be a little bit messy, and I don't care who it offends. Is Dr. Jackie really a man? Is that really a man? Is that allegedly? Is that what we're dealing with? Is that why she's saying some of the nasty, hateful things that she's saying about Black female patients? Because she gives me masculine energy. Now, I'm not making fun of, and let me be clear, I'm not making fun of any women that cannot conceive children. I'm not, by any means necessary. So I want to be clear about that. But I want to make a point. Dr. Jackie can't have kids. She can't get pregnant for various reasons. And that's a problem for a lot of women. And that is of no fault of their own. But for her to say that, no, I'm sorry, for Funky Dineva to say he knows Dr. Jackie and he knows she didn't mean any harm when she made those disparaging statements about Black women who are pregnant, who are her patients. For him to say that she did not mean any harm, that doesn't really ring as a statement of truth to me. Because you don't know that lady like that. You don't know her well enough to know she didn't mean any harm. She meant harm. Because to say something so disparaging and so myopic and so ignorant like that, and I really never really went in on that, that really sounds like a man who doesn't understand what it's like for a woman to go through pregnancy. From what I understand, women can die, and women do die oftentimes when they are pregnant. They're risking their life carrying another human inside of them. But neither Funky Dineva nor Dr. Jackie, they don't understand that. Because they've never carried a child before. And again, I'm not making fun of Dr. Jackie for not being able to carry children. I'm not doing that. But I'm making a point. So this further validates how I feel about Funky Dineva, truthfully, that he really don't like Black women like that. He don't like Black women like that, because if he did, he would not have went along with what Dr. Jackie said. And my question remains, how does Funky Dineva know Dr. Jackie so well? Because Dr. Jackie doesn't strike me as the type that runs around with gay men. She's an OBGYN that owns her own practice. What would she have in common with Funky Dineva? Just asking questions. And I know what some people are going to think, well, anybody can be friends. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Funky Dineva does have an education, so maybe, maybe that's the connection. But just because you have an education, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to connect with everyone else. And also, Funky Dineva is in a fraternity. So here we go with the fraternities again. And listening to him, something came to me about a lot of these well known YouTubers like him and others. A lot of these people are sons and daughters of Yahweh. And they are in a lot of these fraternities, which is connected to a lot of Masonic, energies. So it makes sense why certain people are allowed into the algorithm here on YouTube where they can become more successful than other people. I don't care about having the same subscribers he does. I don't care about that. But I'm making a point. So when he said that him and Dr. Jackie knew each other, he knows her very well, it really put things in perspective because they're all part of the same cult. They're all part of the same cult. And once again, they're using black women in this humiliation ritual for their own prosperity, for their own money, and their own come up. That comment that Dr. Jackie made, she made that comment some years back, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2 or 3 years old, the video of her and Heavenly having a conversation. That was an old conversation. And it's interesting that they bring it up now. All of it is on cap, in my opinion. But it's evident that once again they wanted to use black women in this ritual that they did because they're all getting paid for it. So it makes sense that now Funky Dineva is no longer on Fox Soul, TGI, whatever. He's no longer on there. And I'm not knocking him for that because his numbers on his own channel have been better than on Fox Soul. They should have kept him if they were smart, or they should have met whatever demands or requests that he had as far as the money he makes. They should have kept him. But it all now makes sense why he left Fox Soul, and now they're still talking about the Dr. Jackie shit. They're still talking about it. You don't say things like that about patients. And what you do not do is you do not marginalize or disparage certain patients. You don't say, oh, Spanish women do this or white women do this and, and Chinese women do this. You don't do that when you're a doctor. You don't do that. You take an oath not to harm your patients physically or that includes emotionally too. You are supposed to be compassionate, especially when a woman is carrying a baby. Because, like I said earlier, carrying another human being inside of you, you're risking your life. So many things can go wrong. And this woman is supposed to be a doctor, an OBGYN. So, no, I don't think that she made a mistake. I don't think she made no motherfucking mistake. And I do think she meant to cause harm because it was a ritual and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And once again, she and the rest of the people in her cult, that's what they did. I have a question, and I know a lot of people are not going to like this, and I really don't talk about a lot of reality shows and stuff like that, but I'm talking about them for spiritual reasons. I have a question. Why is Bravo and the cast of Bravo, and she may not be one of our favorite people. A lot of people may not, we sometimes people that we don't like, you still got to look at things for what they are. And I cannot ignore the fact that they are trying to sacrifice Quad on Married to Medicine. They're trying to sacrifice her. They're trying to push her off the show because she's the only one besides Phaedra, if I'm not mistaken, who's not married. And the only reason the only reason they allowed Phaedra with her crazy ass to come on the show is because Phaedra and Quad are friends. But what Quad don't understand is your friend is the one helping to sacrifice you. How you gonna trust that Scorpio? She's your shadow self. Because Quad is a Taurus. How you gonna trust the Scorpio? That Scorpio is there to take you down so she can take your place. Why are they trying to sacrifice Quad? And then on top of that, Dr. Gregory's new his new wife, Letitia, I believe that's her name. They call her Sweet Tea. And I think that's very disrespectful because that's not her name. Her name is Letitia. Letitia, something like that. But the women call her Sweet Tea. And if that's not a nickname that she came with, then I don't think that that's something that they should call her. That is disrespectful and it's dishonorable for those older women to do that to that young woman because I believe she's 30, 31 years old. She and Dr. Heavenly got into a big argument online. Dr. Heavenly, you are a woman in your 50s. Why are you arguing with a 30-some-year-old woman? Why? You are a woman in your 50s. You have a husband. You're a business owner. You have two children. Two of them getting ready. One is already in college. Laura is getting ready to go to college. Why are you arguing with this young woman? And Dr. Heavenly's another Scorpio who got Mariah off the show. Allegedly. She did some stuff to get Mariah off the show. That's all I'm gonna say. But why are you arguing with this young woman? Why are you arguing with Sweet Tea or Letitia, whatever her name is? I'm not a big fan of hers, but damn, can't y'all get a girl some respect? Get a woman some respect. She's a full-fledged grown woman. And then let me tell you, see, this is how spell work can work sometimes. Sweet Tea was telling these women too much of her business, but it's all part of the show. She was saying that she wanted to have kids with Dr. Gregory and all of these different things. And now, after these women have been attacking her subliminally, she doesn't see it, but I see it. They've been attacking her. She goes to the doctor and finds out now that she has endometriosis. And now it's going to be difficult for her to give birth to a child, according to what her doctor told her. Let's spin this all the way back around to Dr. Jackie and what she said about black women. You see how this ritual works? You see what they're doing? From Funky Daniva, Dr. Jackie, Sweet Tea, aka Letitia, not being able to, well, they did not say she could not have children, But endometriosis is a serious issue that a lot of women have. I think it has something to do with it affects the I don't know if it's the fallopian tubes or the uterus. Let me look it up. What does endometriosis affect in women?
According to Mayo Clinic, endometriosis is a condition in which cells similar to the lining of the uterus, or endometrium, grow outside the uterus.
So it affects the uterus.
Endometriosis often involves the pelvic tissue and can.
Okay, so it affects the uterus, the pelvic tissue of a woman. Okay, so here this young woman who married an older man wants to give him children, and you have these older women sitting here bashing her, attacking her, tearing her down. That is a form of spell work, and she has no spiritual protection against these women. So from Dr. Jackie saying what she said about black women, to Funky Dineva backing it up, to Dr. Heavenly confirming it, and look what we have here. Now she has endometriosis. I'm just looking at everything in full circle. But YouTube has an anti-bullying policy. And all of these people that I named, they have YouTube channels. And most of them use their platforms to tear other people down, to bully people, to talk reckless about people. But YouTube doesn't have a problem with that because they're all part of fraternities. They have the male fraternities and they have the female fraternities. They're all part of some type of fraternity. And when you're part of that cult, you get special privileges. That is why they can, that is how they're able to rise in ranks within the YouTube institution. Because let's be totally honest. Funky Dineva is okay, but he ain't all that. He was good on Fox Soul, and I would say that they need him on there, but he ain't all that. He ain't all that. So I'm sorry, you all. I'm getting a little bit distracted because I have a Bigfoot ass motherfucking bitch that lives on top of me, and she walks very fucking hard, and the shit is very crazy. How the fuck do you walk that fucking hard? Like, how do you do that? You don't know how to fucking walk? Anyway, he's not all that. A lot of these people who are vloggers, they're not all that. I mean, they have some good moments, but they're not all that. And we keep thinking, or we think, that these people are self-made when a lot of them are not. They were put in a certain algorithm. They were put in a certain algorithm where their content could go viral and they would become well known. Isn't it interesting? They took away Fox Soul and what is it called? Cocktails with the Queens with Vivica Fox, Lisa Ray, Savina, I think it's Selena Johnson, and Claudia Jordan. But then they're going to go and bring in two gay men with Claudia Jordan. Not that you wonder why the ratings are not good, not because they're gay, but because they're trying to push a certain agenda that has nothing to do with regular, average LGBT gay people. I was listening to Vladimir Putin. He was talking about the LGBT community in Russia and how he has respect for the LGBT community in Russia, despite what people may say about the anti-gay laws in Russia and stuff like that. And I saw something in the comments section where someone had said that basically what he was saying is that the gay people in Russia, the gay people in Russia, they have rights, but they are not privileged or something like the gay people in the USA or whatever the case may be. Well, let me tell you something. As a gay person in the USA, I ain't never been privileged for a motherfucking thing. I've always had to work for what I wanted. Ain't nobody never gave me nothing. Being gay never opened up no motherfucking doors for me, and it never gave me no other extra rights. I'll get called the F word like any other gay person. It never gave me any extra rights. So that is why I say they create all of these laws like YouTube, all these anti bullying laws, all these anti bullying protocols, and all this stuff, surrounding sometimes the LGBT community. But in actuality, nothing that they do ever serves us. It never serves me. I've been discriminated plenty of times. I've been discriminated against plenty of times. I meant. And it never made a fucking difference. I couldn't sue nobody. I couldn't do anything about it. You report this shit and they'll say, we can't prove it. That is only for people in those fraternities. That is only for people who are designed and set up for to be monitored and watched. Because a lot of these big name YouTubers, they think that they have it all under control, or we think they do. No, they don't. They are guinea pigs. They're being watched and monitored. They're being watched and monitored by their masters. Yes, they are. These laws and all of these things they put in place and protocols they put in place, they only benefit them. How can you have laws put in place to protect black women or to protect women, and shit is worse than ever for women on social media? Women get stalked, women get murdered, women get harassed, women get bullied, threatened, and not just by men, but by other women too. So when I hear when I hear all of these protocols that are in place, and when I think about the Funky Genevas and the people on that so-called level, those things are put in place to help them. Those things are put in place to help the T.S. Madisons, the Funky Genevas, who are also here to push a certain agenda. And that has nothing to do with your average gay or transgender person. Because most of us are not trying to push no agendas. We're just trying to live our lives and do what we do. So why do people keep giving their energy to people when you're not getting anything in return? When I was looking at that live Funky Dineva did yesterday, some woman asked him, "What's your cash app?" Just sending him senseless money. For what? He barely said thank you. He barely said thank you to the woman. Barely. Because he thinks he's entitled to that. And it's nothing wrong sending, money or cash apps to people that you like and support. I do that too. I do that too for people that I like and support. It's nothing wrong with that. But who are you supporting? Who are you supporting? A bunch of people who are in a cult to promote their own agenda and you don't get anything out of it? He's sitting up supporting Dr. Jackie, a woman that made a black woman who made disparaging remarks about black women who are pregnant after she had a conversation with Kamala Harris, who was talking about the what do they call it, the mortality rate for pregnant women, specifically for pregnant black women, that a lot of women, black women in particular, die while in childbirth. She just had a conversation about that, saying that that's something close to her heart. Really? But then you did an interview 3 years ago saying something totally different. And we're not supposed to question that. And we're supposed to take the word of a man like Funky Geneva who says, well, I know Dr. Jackie and I know she didn't mean any harm. Really? Really? This is the same man that got mad at Paula J. Parker because she had her own opinion about a situation, even though I did not agree with what she was saying, but he tore her down. And then he made comments about her own experiences with being sexually assaulted in Hollywood or almost sexually assaulted in Hollywood. Then he started talking about she was an OB. Basically, that's what he was trying to say. And this is who y'all give y'all money to. As black women, y'all give him money? Y'all give that man money? That's very interesting to me. It's just interesting. You can give your money to who you want to, but I'm just asking questions. Because we as a culture, there are things happening right in front of us, and it's not getting questioned. No one is saying anything about it. Why are we supposed to give Dr. Jackie a pass? Why are we supposed to give her a pass? She said some pretty fucked up things about black women. That was fucked up. Pregnant black women at that. To me, that was racist. It was elitist. And it was evil. And if I was a woman, I wouldn't want her nowhere near my vagina. That's just me personally. I wouldn't want her nowhere near. She wouldn't be my OBGYN. I would rather for Dr. Simone to be my OBGYN if I was a woman. And that is who should have had the conversation with Kamala Harris, not Dr. Jackie. But Funky Geneva backs up what she said, no matter what comes out of his mouth. And now he's mad at Flame Monroe and I guess Claudia Jordan now. Something went on yet the other day on Fox Soul and he addressed it. I don't know. That's interesting. But they put these people up who are in these fraternities, who have connections to these Masonic groups. That's how they become who they are. It's not because they're talented. They have connections that get them to where they want to go. YouTube is connected to Masonic energies. But yet, all the while, they have policies and protocols for anti bullying anti-harassment, to make the community a safe place and a comfortable place for everyone. But all of these vloggers and content creators who are on a certain higher level, they have built their platform off of harassing people, off of tearing people down, off of bullying people, off of doxing people. They made a killing off of that. They built their platforms off of that. But this is supposed to be a safe place for people, especially children. How can YouTube be safe for children when you allow people to basically exploit children online? I'm just asking questions as a concerned citizen of the YouTube community. They used to have a YouTube council. You know, maybe they need to bring back the YouTube council. And I know I'm laughing, but it's really not a laughing matter. It's very serious. But sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying, child. You feel what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. You know, Dr. Jackie and what she said, that was racist. That was nasty. That was disgusting what she said about black pregnant women. That black pregnant women cry wolf, and that black pregnant women, you know, are always trying to get her to uh, 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 fill out forms to dismiss them from work, because what that says is, and that's giving into or reinforcing a racist stereotype that black people don't like to do work and that black people are lazy, and we know black women are not lazy. We know black women are not lazy. Come on now. That is what that gives energy to. And that is what Funky Dineva is backing up when he says shit like, oh, I know Dr. Jackie and I know she didn't mean any harm. Of course she did. And she caused a lot of harm with her mouth. Just like they're causing harm to Sweet Tea, throwing that spell work at her, and now that girl has endometriosis. Anyway, this is the occult view. I just thought that I would come through and just drop that little tidbit. Anyway, y'all have a good day. If I have anything else to say, I'll come back.